So my name is Angelia Freeman, and I am the Outreach Program Manager for the Community Cancer Center. As a program manager, what I do is I coordinate what the needs of the patient are as far as patient resources and the needs of our community. So it really is a good opportunity to benefit other community organizations as well as our patients. For example, we know that tobacco use is very heavy in Douglas County, and we know that individuals need to be educated and they need to have the resources to understand how to quit and to be able to do it. And that's one of the resources that we provide for our patients as well as for the community members, is how to quit smoking. So in addition to quitting smoking or tobacco cessation, we also provide a specialty program for pregnant women or women who wish to become pregnant so they can also stop smoking. And then we've really developed a nice suite of programming that benefits the community as a whole, that it has to do with healthy lifestyle changes that help to manage your cancer risks that are manageable, things that you can make an effective change with, and which is really kind of cool. It has several different facets. It's kind of like you're working with a diamond. There's multiple facets to it. First and foremost, it's a job that I love doing, but then I also have the opportunity to have a positive influence on somebody else's life. And that means I'm going to help them to manage their cancer risks, or I'm going to help them to understand the behaviors that are creating the addiction that they have to tobacco, or help them to develop a healthy lifestyle that's going to change their quality of life. So that's a pretty cool position to be in, to be able to have that positive influence and develop a really good relationship with our patient base and the community members. Well, pretty much everyone is going to have that conflicting priority because they're coming in with that issue that they need to understand their nutrition, or they need to understand their habit of smoking, or they need to understand, what's happening in their body. So they already have that barrier there. And so what we do is we help them to understand that we get it, and when we're working with them, it's judgment free. So we're taking them where they're at right now, and we're showing them a better way, or a better lifestyle, or a better habit, and we just gently guide them the direction that we need them to go. And we allow them to feel the emotions they're going to feel. We allow them to experience the ups and downs, and we guide them through that process. So when they're learning how to quit smoking, they understand they have a habit. A lot of time there's a lot of negative self-talk around that, and they kind of beat themselves up for it. And we help them to understand that it's totally normal. It's normal to feel that way, and we want you to be able to wake up and say, I can do this, and I'm going to put my program into place, and I'm going to do the things that I've committed to myself that I'm going to do with my plan. I haven't included from 2012, so starting in 2015, when we started developing an entire suite of programming from 2015 through 2022. So over that course of time, we've been able to have face-to-face interactions in helping over 84,000 individuals throughout Douglas County. It's actually pretty easy. When someone doesn't understand all of the consequences of smoking or vaping, you just have to put it in very simple terms, because already they come in with that block. I don't want to quit, and what I'm doing is better than doing this piece over here. So it's pretty simple. If you have a substance that you ignite and it creates smoke, which is a carcinogen, and we know that carcinogens are toxic to the human body. It's pretty simple. It's toxic. It's not better than, it's simply toxic. And that's been a point that's been pretty hard to argue with. I think it's going to be lead by example. It really is. If you have someone who is not a healthy person, but they're trying to educate on health and wellness, and they're not quite living that example, you're going to be less likely to believe them. But if you have someone that says, hey, I'm not a clinician, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a registered dietitian, I'm you, and we're going to do this journey together. And every time you meet, every time you have an engagement, it's like, okay, what are we doing? How are we doing it? Are we doing better? How can I help you do better? How can I make it easy for you? And you just keep encouraging them and keep encouraging them until you get the results that you want. When it comes to tobacco use specifically, it's a coping mechanism. So we really try to help individuals right from the very first interaction to understand that you are going to have your triggers, and those triggers are never, ever going to go away. and we understand that. But your trigger will create a behavioral response, and that behavioral response is you want to reach for that coping mechanism. So then we start looking at, okay, when this trigger happens, trigger A, what we want to do is take a look at that coping mechanism that you could do instead of smoking. And you may not do that every time, but it really starts with making the individual consciously aware of their habit and why they have that habit, and whether they're in withdrawal or whether it's out of a habit or it's a behavioral trigger, whatever that purpose is. But once they become consciously aware that they're doing it and why they're doing it, now they're gaining control. So the habit no longer controls them, they're starting to control the habit, and then we just build on it from there. Yes, every individual is very unique, and what works for one person isn't necessarily going to work for someone else. So when we have a very wide variety of individuals in each class, you'll have some people who have not smoked for 20 plus years. You'll have some people who haven't smoked for 6 months, and they are helping someone who's trying to quit. So you get some mentorship pieces as well as you get the educational piece. And of course, they always leave with a little homework. I always give them homework to do over the next week, just to help them to consciously think about what they're doing and what they want to have happen. You can find more information about all of the programs that we offer for part of our healthy lifestyle classes through our website. And if you go under the About section and go to our events page, you'll see whatever's upcoming and happening on our events page. Or you can call me directly at 541-672-0072, and I'm more than happy to answer your calls and help you along.